Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn, and this is a drainage project. Somewhere in here is a 4-inch line that I put in several years ago, because when I put the lawn in, there was a wet spot, so I said, well, I'll just put some perforated pipe in there to try to make sure the lawn doesn't get too wet. But I've also used it. It basically ends where that shed is in that tree. It also takes the water runoff from the right side of, that's the woodshed just beyond it. So there's a fair amount of water that always runs here, and although I doubt there's any water here now. There it is. So there's the pipe. But yeah, there's no water now. We haven't had rain for a couple weeks. There's a dog. But when I put that in, I put a bunch of rocks around here. I can't really mow it, obviously, and I haven't really maintained it, so there's brush that's growing up through it. So, since I have my trailer that already has some rocks in it from the power line project, installation of primary underground service, I finished picking up the rocks that I dug out of the trench from that. So that's there. But the project at hand is to take that, which right now just dumps here, and even though we haven't had rain for a couple weeks, granted it is fall time, so the grass is not absorbing a lot of moisture, it's not growing much. I still have puddles. And I was trying to transplant some trees down here, and I think because this is so wet, they've not taken. I've tried a couple times here. This one, I think, is the only one in this little line here that shows any promise. But I had really good luck on that one and other tree lines that I've done. So it's not the transplanting. I think it's the soil, and it's just saturated with water too often. So right there is that 4-inch line, and I want to take that and direct it all the way to the road, which is just over the hill there. Which is, I can't remember, I did measure it. I'm guessing it's maybe 500 feet or so. Something like that, maybe 300. But I'm going to pick up 2 spots along the way, and I have some catch drains to put in. So there's that one. There is this one. You can see the white pipe there. Again, some rocks around it. This one actually has some water running out. I'm not sure why. These apples are nice. They don't look the best here on the ground, but I had one. And this is not an apple tree that we planted or anyone that I know of for domestic. Just a wild apple tree, but it's sweet apples. So there's that. That takes, I think there's one floor drain, and the perimeter drain from the back side of the house comes out here. So we'll pick that up. Right next to that shed there is the drain from the front of the house, and I think it also picks up the garage floor drain. So there's a drain here. And I did verify that where the tractor is, that first 4-inch pipe is the high spot. This one is a bit lower. Where we're standing here is a bit lower than that. And then, it might even be obvious on camera, the ditch in the road is much lower than where we're standing. So I have the right fall. So I have 3 catch basins. I had toyed with the idea of either 6-inch pipe, once I picked up a couple of the 4-inch pipes, or just 4-inch pipe all along. And I think I've decided to go 4-inch pipe all along. It's a lot cheaper. It's an open catch drain, so if it gets over capacity, then the water will just run out the top, which is really no different than it does now. So the first order of business will be to clear out this area here, take care of those rocks, and then start putting a place for the catch basin. So this is one of the 3 drain boxes that I purchased. So it comes basically, these are 12 by 12, comes basically with a drain box itself. I did buy 3 risers, guessing it's probably 8 inches, and that just sets on here so that the pipe can be deeper in the ground. So the pipe here will be, maybe 10, 12 inches below grade, which is fine. You can add, I think, really unlimited amounts of risers. And then on top will be this grate. I think these, I know they come in black and green plastic. This is the green plastic, but I think it also, you can get them with a cast iron cover. As far as attaching them, when I first ordered these, I thought of using 6-inch for the main drain after it collected a couple 4 inches, but so that's why I bought these. Actually goes on the inside like that, but you cut this one out for the 6-inch. These here it comes with, that's I had to buy separately. It comes with these. You cut a hole for 2-inch, 3-inch, or 4-inch, and I'll be using the 4-inch. So this goes on the inside like that, and then there is a ring that you screw on the outside. So this is relatively flexible. We use ones without the screws taped to them. This here is pretty flexible. Any 4-inch pipe, I think, whether it's the corrugated one that you saw out there when I was digging, or SDR 35 or Schedule 40 or thin wall drain pipe, I think will fit in here snug and seal up. I don't know how much this will actually stretch. I'm guessing it might a little bit. So I'm going to start out with a riser because I want this as deep as reasonable. I don't want it really near the surface, but I don't want to go crazy. And the other thing that these could be used for, and I guess in hindsight maybe I should have bought 4 of these, if for some reason I need a little extra fall in the next drain box, then I can make this deeper by adding another riser. I have plenty of fall to go to the ditch. I'm not worried about that at all, but the 2 intermediate ones might be a little bit close. I know I have fall from one point to the other, but to make that a steady decline from one to the other is a bit more of a challenge, at least for me. I was a bit disappointed with this because, I put this one in here because I closed it up, but they all come with an opening on opposite sides, like this one. They all came like that. But this first one, I'm going to have a pipe go in here, the one that we uncovered, and then it's going to make a 90 and come out here. So I have to waste one of these just to cover this hole. I guess I could, put some plastic and tape and stuff, and it's going to be soil against there anyhow. But I have 9 of these, so 3 per distribution box or drain box, and that should work well. Cuts really easily. Granted, I did put a new sharp blade on here because I didn't want to mess around with the dull one. No, yes. So it's interesting they have 3 cutouts here as far as depth goes. There's no reason for me to go different than just the center, the same height as that one. So this is a bit thicker plastic. We'll see how easy this cuts. It does cut easier once you get started. And it cuts easier when you're pushing downhill rather than trying to pull towards yourself. I think it's better to cut it from the outside. Easier control of cutting the right location. That's what it looks like. So the risers do have 4 corners with screw holes, screw hole here, and screw hole here, either for the grate top or for another riser. I think at least for the risers, I'm just going to put 2 in. There it is, 190-degree drain box ready to go. Oh, so this was the last cutout. I did actually find it much easier to do it the way I didn't think it was easier when I first started. But this will be the 8th one. So yeah, I guess after 8 times I can learn a little bit. So it does say on the these things, this side in, so that's how I'm doing it. I did end up putting all 4 screws because actually they gave me more than enough screws, so why not use all 4 for the risers? So they are ready to go. 3 outlets, 3 outlets, 2 outlets. So I dug out most of the big rocks and some soil from this area here. The rest of what's left, the smaller rocks, is going to be more, or not quite enough to fill in here and then sort of grade this, sort of a finished grade, a bit better slope than what I have now. After this is in, so this is ready to be put in, and now what I just need to do is, and this slips right in here actually pretty easily. If I had 2 hands it would be really easy, but it'll slip in there. But I need to provide a little bit more height. So this rests on the ground, which right now is about 2 or 3 inches above the ground. So we'll get the excavator started up and just use some of this stuff here and set it there. What I'd like to do, my plan, I have the ditching bucket on, so I want to do all the ditches from here to the town road before I put the bigger bucket on, which is when I'm going to be able to fill my trailer and bring topsoil over here to sort of finish the grade to the top of these drain boxes that I'm putting in. Most of the fill really should be over here. I don't think I'll be doing much additional landscaping or contouring over there. it's not going in quite as easy as I had hoped. I think I'll get a utility knife and make a clean cut on here. That might help. Well, that's not going to fit that well. So what I think I'll do is cheat a little bit. Maybe if I get it started, I can push it in further. Is just make a slit here so I can sort of overlap them. The other option I have is to actually make a slit in here so this opens wider, but I'd rather not do that. I think the seal would be better if I can make the slit here up top and force it in. You can probably tell I'm very new at this. In fact, this is the first time I've ever messed with any of these drain boxes. Alright, I think we're giving birth to a pipe in here. Oh, there it is. So that's where I cut it. So this is the overlap. That seems to be quite a bit of an overlap. But I think the seal is good. So there's a slight reduction in diameter, but not much. So with that connected, and probably not easy to come out, which is good, then I'll just put some stuff under here until it's sort of level. I mean, with this type of pipe, it's nice to have a bit of flexibility. Before I dig too much, I want to get some idea about how far off I am on my trench depth. So yeah, right now I'm probably almost a foot too deep. So it's nasty here because on this, this lawn when I made it, this went down. You saw, well, you've probably seen a lot of this aluminum. I'm guessing it's aluminum roofing over here. That was from the a barn that was part of the farmstead here before I moved in. We took a lot of loads to the dump of when we demolished the buildings of stuff. We burnt the wood but evidently there's still pieces left. I think in here was might have been either the parlor or the stalls where the cows were kept, as opposed to the hay barn. I think the hay barn was a bit further that way. Anyhow, so this rocky fill, I used some fill. I got some from the town when they dug out ditches. I don't remember it being this rocky, but most of this lawn right around here, to make it relatively level, was all filled in. Otherwise it would have been quite a steep drop off. So some of this is probably recent fill, meaning within the last 20 years. So I'm going to put some of this stuff back in, raise this up. I know over here I'm going to have a gap because I just took away more material than I needed to. But over here, say from here down, I'd like to sort of make the bottom of the trench about the right height, or right depth. Well, it's going well. My only concern is that relative to the ground, the trench looks to be getting a fair amount deeper. The first stop is basically by this apple tree here, right here. There is quite a drop here between here and the excavator. I'm hoping that will lessen that. I just don't. What I'll have to do if this ends up being too deep with the necessary fall that I need for the water to drain there to here is I'll have to purchase another riser or two so that the pipe can set low, but the green grate will be, at grade. So I'll finish working on this ditch and we'll come back when there's more news. Whew. Well, that water coming in there is a bit of a mystery. This was the location of the old barn. There's some concrete floor there and a big piece here I took out. Well, bigger, not huge. It sort of smells like sewerish. As far as I know, there was no real leach field or septic system before I put one in. The stuff was just daylighted on. But there's almost a pipe or something in there. It was coming out. Or it's just some old pipes that were filled with water. And once they, got the light of day, sort of empty themselves. It doesn't look like it's coming out anymore, but it's going to make for a challenge to put the pipe in. Well, I'm finding all kinds of treasures. I'm guessing that's got to be a pipe in there. There's water coming from there. I don't know. This might have been some old sort of leach field with all these rocks that I'm pulling out. Just might have been voids, because I'm getting more of this concrete walls or floors that were buried here. So I'm hoping it's just groundwater that's just sort of been setting in these voids. I guess on the bright side, the water will provide me a good indication of level to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. So what I probably will end up doing is just taking this trench and just going all the way to the ditch in the road and use that to drain it, make putting the pipe in a little bit easier. Well, it's been 24 hours and this trench is filled up in good shape, but I guess the water's kind of nice to have as an indication of level. At least it's obvious to me now that I am pitching downhill. There doesn't seem to be any indication that it's continued to flow, so I think it was just sort of trapped groundwater. This is probably as good a shot as any, as this stuff is buried. I don't think that's natural. I think that's rocks. You know, here's a bunch of concrete floor, I'm guessing, from the cow barn. A bunch of other big rocks and stuff. Alright, well, let's continue digging and make our way to the road. We have one more stop, one more drainage line to pick up. You can see that one there. Oh, that little white thing right there. Well, dark came in last night as I was finishing up this section here, this last section. We did get about 1/4 inch of rain, so that has verified that I have nice fall. This is a lot of fall. And all I have to do is finish that up, and that little puddle of water will go into the ditch. Well, a little bit of shovel work there to make room for that little 4-inch pipe. Not a big deal. It's all loose, sloppy. I think it'll work well. I am going to get some drain work. I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I'm going to get a trailer load, which will be about 4 cubic yards of 3/4 inch drain rock is what they call it. It's crushed rock, ledge. For a couple reasons. I've been thinking about this. Primarily for up here where the soil is horrible. Basically from here down, the soil's nice. I can use that for fill, you know, if I have a low spot to put under the pipe before I backfill. But over here it's horrible. This is where all that water was seeping through. So I'm going to use a little bit of the rock to make the base for the drains, the drain boxes. 3 of those. A black one there, which is already in place. The one that goes here, and the one there. I just think it'll be easier to set it with less of a chance of it settling afterwards. And then the extra drain rock I'm going to put along here is, you know, to catch this drain water. Look at all that. This collapses. There's lots of big rocks. So put a bunch here, drill some holes in the bottom of that pipe so that I can catch any excess groundwater that basically just try to minimize the height at which it can come up. Keep it as far away from the surface of the ground as I can. Some holes in the bottom of that pipe to sort of act as a little bit of a French drain just in this area. But from here on down, I don't think I need that. So for the first pickup of the perimeter drain, you can see just from the rain last night, there's a bit of water dripping out. I'll probably bend the pipe down a little bit as it makes its way to there, but I do plan to fill in this area with some topsoil. Right there where my shovel is, there's about a 6 or an 8 inch drop off from where I sort of ended the lawn. You can see over there. Same sort of thing. So I'm going to have probably 8 inches or more of fill of this pipe. I had thought of maybe going down with a 45, you know, sort of offsetting it down a bit further, but I think with the flexibility of that 3-wall pipe, I'll just connect it there and then bend it down a little bit to meet up with the drain box that'll be right there in that corner. So this one here, so this will be the front of the house perimeter drain, and I think the other is the garage floor drain that I'll connect just like we did here with the 45 and the Y. Connect that into one pipe. But here it's already sort of below grade. I will probably fill in a little bit here because this pipe was a bit right sort of next to the surface. And if I drive over here with equipment, I don't want a chance of crushing it. So I'll run this one a little bit deeper. I should have plenty of fall to reach the drain box right there. So I ended up getting about 6 tons of this rock. It's 3/4 inch. They call drain rock or ledge. Most of it's in the trailer. I want it over there where the water is. I'm just unsure whether I want to drive it on the lawn because it's obviously pretty heavy. What I might do is just put it in the bucket here and drive it down to the tractor. The other option I have is to bring it around this way because I don't care if I, make small ruts in the field and back it up. That's probably what I'll do, is just bring it down there. But for the time being, I want to put these drain boxes in. When I get the tractor away, it might be a bit more obvious, but I'm thinking I may want to remove this riser because it may be a bit too high. But I don't have to worry about that now. Alright, this one's basically in place. So let's put the other one in. So a couple things here. One is these pipes are a little bit too close together to make this connection like that. They need to be maybe an inch or two further apart. So I've got to go down here to do that, to spread these pipes. Come on, get out of there. The other thing is, this is the bell end. So when they put this in, this actually is sort of backwards. But that works out fine. I have this extra piece of triple wall. Put it in there. That fits nice and tight. That will give me an opportunity to spread these out a little bit. And I'll either not put anything there, or I'll use this tile tape, because that's wet and muddy. I don't think I'd have good luck with the cement. Should be able to do this okay. Stick to itself okay. I don't know if it's just the cooler weather or just the cement itself, but this is a lot thicker than regular PVC cement. At least the stuff, the medium body that I've used. I'll go through the little corner. So I guess I can cut it right there. hold it down. I don't want it to come up to the surface anymore. I'm guessing this cement is just sort of extra insurance. When I bought this, my local drainage supply company, they said most people don't use anything. They didn't even sell this cement. They didn't sell the tile tape that I used. They just said people stick it together and don't glue it. So I ended up getting this at Home Depot, which they didn't have in stock. I had to order it online. Piece. So that little bit of extra rock that I have, a little bit in there. I'm just going to use that to fill under these pipes. So what I did is I just had a couple areas where I lifted the pipe up because this was a bit level and actually sloped the wrong way here a bit. So, and I had plenty of fall from that drain box to here, so I was able to lift this pipe up, still have plenty of fall from there, and then establish the fall that I needed from here to that other one. Well, finally I've got all the pipe in and supported on bottom, and for the most part the sides. Down there not as much, but I'll show you that in a second. But this stretch here, which was the worst, I have the worst fill. I think the pipe is protected enough where if a rock falls on it, it should be fine. I did look at this, and that riser does not need to be there. Hopefully it's obvious on camera, but that would stick well above the grade. Well, that's the process. That's what it's going to look like, at least before I bring some topsoil. There's a lot of fine tuning for me to do, and fill in this, sort of grate it there around the grate. I think it'll look great. I think it'll look fine. So I'll backfill the rest of this, and we'll come back when working with the topsoil. What I need to do next is take that ditching bucket off and put my regular bucket on. I have a pile of topsoil on the other side of the house there that I plan to take from and trailer it over here and dump it where I need to and smooth it out, and then next year I'll either seed it or just allow it to grow grass naturally. So this is all leveled out as best I can with the material I had. Really the only significant area I haven't done is this, because I just didn't have enough fill. The stuff I did have over there is just all rocky. So the next step now is to get some topsoil. But first I have the my smooth face, poor man's ditching bucket, whatever you want to call it, to take off. This is just a homemade thing that I put on using old teeth. I just welded it to the old teeth. So I have the 5 pins to remove. They're all about there. Can be a challenge because I don't have the proper tool. I just have a regular straight punch, but it's always worked. Actually sort of went from the wrong side. I couldn't remember what side the retaining washer is, but this is that groove, so the retaining washer is over here. So actually I'm better off pushing it that way. But this went out fine. It just means you have to expand it and then push it all the way that through that washer with a larger diameter. The end one, or this one, and that one wasn't too bad. These are the funky ones, which a tool works well because it has a sort of a 90-degree bend to help with this. All I did here was I sort of concave the end, which I probably need to refurbish, sort of peening over to help keep it on the pin. That one seems to not have a pin in it. can't remember. It's possible that I was just a pin shy when I put it in. In fact, probably with this setup here, you probably only could get away with just pins on either end and not put them in the middle. These are those retaining washers. They have a split, so they expand to go over the large part of the pin, and then they'll collapse back in that groove. I do remember when I took these off earlier this summer, I was missing a tooth. I could not find it. I can't even remember where I lost it. So I did buy a new set, so this will just be a one spare. I'll use the other ones because they're still in pretty decent shape. This one has actually started to go through the retaining ring, but the tooth itself is preventing the pin to go all the way through. So this is a sod pile I've been referring to. This sod pile has been here in one form or another for I think at least 20 years. It came from this area here, which was not nearly as flat. It sort of came up from the field and then did more of a steep drop off into this driveway, which did exist. So all I did is scrape off the topsoil. Initially it was in 3 different piles, so I've consolidated it at least over the years. I've used a little bit of it, but not a lot, and it's really good material. It will have some random rocks in it, but as far as sod, root clumps, it should be free of all that since it's been left here so long. And I have a tree growing on top of it, which is a box elder maple. I believe it's a child of that tree right there. So I'm going to make myself a bit of a ramp so I can get up there, separate out the grass, the sod that has grown on the outside of the pile, take down the tree, and then get to the good material, which I'll load into my trailer. Well, that wasn't the best idea ever. My biggest concern is that wheel is right in line with this, so I don't know if or how much damage I did, but I can't go forward, I can't go backward. I had intended on dumping it a bit further uphill where there was a bit more cover on the pipe, but it kept sliding this way, and that stuff is just so muddy. It's funny because you can see how dry and dusty this is because it was off the ground, but the native soil is still muddy. Well, there's the damage. It squished that, and it looks like it pulled, this is the end of the pipe. Looks like it sort of pulled it away, because there's that. So I guess in a way I lucked out. I do have an extra couple lengths of pipe, so I'll just take this one out and put a new one in. I'm wondering if this might have happened some other time. That's weird. It's like it didn't go in and it folded over. But I mean, this is the difference. If this was SDR 35 or certainly thin wall or maybe even Schedule 40, this would have cracked and broken. Granted, it's not good, but it does show you the ductility of this particular pipe, which is called triple wall. Alright, let's see what this other pipe looks like. Might have been a blessing. Well, I'm not sure how disguised it was. But I'm thinking either when I put that pipe in or when I backfilled it, this other damage occurred. I don't think it would have forced the pipe that way. With me riding over it. Maybe it would have. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I did dispense with the idea of trying to cement all these together. That cement just did not seem right. Might have been too cold. I think pipes might have had moisture on them. I don't know. Well, that's what's left of the pile. I took out 70 cubic yards, 14 loads, about 5 yards per load. There was a bunch of grass here. You might have noticed grass sod that I had stripped off the top. I took 4 loads and back just over the pile there. There's some brown looking grass. That's actually another sod pile out there. So this is not pretty by any means. It is better than it was. But I'm sort of in a time crunch. Time is running out on me fall with the things that I want to get done. So I short-circuited this a little bit. I will neaten this up a little bit, probably with my tractor bucket. This is just roughly graded with the excavator. If I had more time, I could do a neater job. But I still have the pile of rocks there that I'm going to sort of dump over a banking that away. I have some handwork to do. I'm not going to do anything as far as seeding or anything this fall. It wouldn't grow anyhow. I will tackle that in the spring. This little pile here is actually my compost. So that pile there was what that looked like a year ago. That is what, yeah, that looked like a year ago. So we put all our food scraps, weeds, and the corn stalks will make its way over there as well this fall. And then during the summer, I just turn this over and it becomes compost. So really nice. So I tried to push that aside and not get it mixed up with the rest of this soil. Well, this video turned out a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So that's why I didn't film a lot of these loads. I probably did another 5 loads or so after I stopped filming them. I only got stuck once more. So thanks for sticking around to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I appreciate it. I hope you stick around for future ones.